Hey guys, myself Rakesh and I welcome you back to my channel. Many of us will go wrong in this graphical kind of a question. And here the question is all about orchestrator configuration logging label, right? So here in the graphics, they have selected trace and they are asking question based on the graphics. Logs of which label will be sent to orchestrator during process execution when orchestrator is connected. So which label? Do you have understanding what is the meaning of label, log labels? And these are the options given: verbose and trace, trace and above. What is the meaning of above? Many people will get they might be confused over here. Trace and above, and then trace only, verbose and above. What is the meaning of this? So right, so to get a proper understanding, this video is going to help you. So once you understand, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to answer such questions without any doubt. So let's get started and start building a simple project, and I'm going to demonstrate what are those and what is the right answer. So let's get started. Okay, our understanding is important. Now for this, you need to first understand the orchestrator configuration, right? This is coming from your Uipath assistant. Okay, so this is your Uipath assistant. So in your Uipath assistant, if you click on your icon where your name will be generally appearing, hit on preferences. So in the preferences page, when you hit on orchestrator settings, here you have log label. So what are these log labels? Trace, information, warning, error, critical. And what does it mean by trace and above? Does it mean verbose or this one, right? Verbose and above, does it mean there is nothing on top of this, right? So there's a big confusion. So do not worry, I'm going to clarify everything in detail. So for this, let's go to our studio. Okay, we are going to design a simple process for us to understand how during the execution how the logs are set. Okay, for that we are going to go with a very simple example. So let's start with a message box. Okay, I'm going with a message box, and let's give it a second. Okay, now in the message box you can type your name. Let's say hello Rakesh. I'm going to type hello Rakesh. Done. After that, let's use couple of log message activities. So the purpose of this is, it is going to, if you read the definition, writes the specified diagnostic message at the specified level. Those messages are also sent to orchestrator and displayed. What I'm reading, this gray box. Okay, you read the gray box on your studio orchestrator and displayed in the log page. So where is the orchestrator log page? Do you know? So all of this you will get an answer. Okay, first of all, just go along with me for some time and then you will understand. So drag and drop log message, and in the log message these are the log labels that you have: fatal, error, one, info, trace. So I'm going to select fatal, just, and I'm going to write this is fatal error, let's say. Okay, fatal message. So something like that, you can write a message. Let me copy paste, and we are going to apply all the different labels. Then I'm going to go with error. So I'll simply say, I'm just simply writing R error. Any message you would like to type, you can type it. Okay, just for to make it slightly quick, I'm typing a shorter message. Let's go with one, and in the one I'm going to write R means Rakesh one, something like that, and then copy paste, and here I'm going to select info, and here I'm going to write for the info R info. Okay, if I simply write info, then you will get confused when you read the logs, right? That time you will have, is this the log label info or this is the message? So that's why I'm putting a word just before that, so we can differentiate. Okay, and then the last one that I have is trace. So here I'm going to say R trace. Okay, these are the, in the log message, these are the verbose you don't have, these are the only log labels available. Okay, done. Now let's save this. Very simple sequence we have created, and I'm going to publish this to my orchestrator. Okay, so before publishing, ensure your UiPath assistant is connected. In case your UiPath assistant is not connected, please watch my video on UiPath Orchestrator 2022 new version. So there I have explained how do you connect your UiPath assistant. So once this is done, then you get this prompt. Just simply hit on next. Okay, orchestrator tenant process feed, that's fine. Hit on next. Certificate is not required, so hit on publish. The moment you hit on publish, it will take few seconds or maybe few minutes, because a very simple project. It should go. Okay, project published successfully. Click on OK. Let's log into our orchestrator. Okay, now in the orchestrator, hit on the tenant. Okay, hit on the tenant, click on the packages. Okay, the project, the process name that is there on your studio, the process name is Automate with Rakesh. So the same thing has been uploaded over here with the process name. Okay, if you would like to see the version, hit on view version, and here it is still saying inactive. That means this package is not yet used, because just now we have uploaded. So how to use this? The package has been uploaded. Now look at your Uipath Studio, which folder it is connected to. So here you see it is connected to IT folder. So whatever the folder that you might have connected to, just go to that folder. That doesn't mean you just have to do it only on that folder, you can do it anywhere. But here, just for convenience purpose, I am selecting the IT folder. And then here you need to go to processes. How to create folder, everything I have demonstrated in the Orchestrator new version 2022. So you can watch that video, all this folder, how to create and all that I have explained. Now here in the IT folder, I am going to processes. And the package that we have uploaded, we are going to add it. So I am going to click on add process. Okay, I'm going to add process. So at the time, if you look at the UiPath assistant, right, the UiPath assistant is completely blank, nothing is there. Now I have sent the package from my studio to Orchestrator, and from Orchestrator I am going to get that package to UiPath assistant, which is currently blank. So how to do that? Through the process. So for that, what we have done, we have clicked on IT, we have clicked on add process, and here I am going to select the package. This is the package just now we have uploaded, so I am selecting the package. Automatically the package version will be shown. Why is it showing 1.0.6? Because I have experimented several times, I have created previous videos, so that's why it is saying 1. For you it might be 1.0.1 if you're doing it for the first time. Okay, now let's hit on, nothing to do here, hit on next. Package automation version, package requirement, there is no such requirements, we'll hit on next. Display name, I'm going to give the same display name, Automate with Rakesh. Okay, whatever your process name is you can give, or up to your choice. You can describe if you need. Now tag labels, these are not required. Priority, I'll leave it as it is, and I'm going to hit on create. Okay, the moment it is created, if you hit on the folder and go to the process, you will see there's a green tick mark and the process is ready. You can either run it from the previous window, or here is the button start job. Okay, so what happens if you go back to UiPath assistant and try to refresh, you will see the Automate with Rakesh has already appeared on your local system. This is your local system. This has appeared from cloud Orchestrator, it has appeared by creating a process. Okay, now here we can also run it like this, or else you can run it from the job. You can run it from the Orchestrator, or you can run it from the Uipath assistant. Okay, so I am doing it in the attended way. I am trying to run it from the Uipath assistant this time. Okay, so now if you run this, what would happen? What we have designed, we have designed a message box, and we have designed a couple of log messages. Okay, now it's the time to understand the log messages. So let's see what is happening with the process. Job started processing, give it few seconds. Okay, give it a few seconds. So it should show a message box, right? Hello Rakesh. Okay, so the process if the moment I click on OK, it will finish. Okay, the process has finished. So the moment the process has finished, right, it is going to send logs. What happened in the process, right? What are the things, what are the activities being used? So this logs supposed to be sent to Orchestrator, and these logs are sent through this preferences. Orchestrator setting, these are the preferences. So whatever you have set it over here, depending on that, the logs will be sent to Orchestrator. Now let's see that, because here I have kept it to verbose. By default it will be information. In your, for the first time when you're doing it, it will be information. Now I had set it to verbose while running that process from Uipath Assistant, right? So let's go back to Orchestrator, and in the Orchestrator, let's see where the logs are. So let's click on the folder where we have created the process. Beside the processes, you have jobs, you have triggers, and here you have logs. So click on logs. Okay, so once you click on the logs, what happened? You see, just now we have run this process, and all this process automate with Rakesh execution ended. So let's see where it started. Automate with Rakesh execution started. Okay, and it has got main executing, sequence executing, all this will come. For you it might be slightly different. I'm telling you why. Because I've kept it in verbose mode. Meaning of verbose is explain something in more words. That is the English meaning. English meaning is explaining something in more words. So here you can see I have got so many data about the process. Now let's start from the very beginning. Do not worry. Do not worry. Let's start from the very beginning. If I turn it off, and I will go to Uipath Assistant, okay, and then run it. Let's run it. Okay, I've turned it off and I'm trying to run the process from the Uipath Assistant. So the message box has appeared. I'll click on OK. Now if you go, so this was our last log at 2:11. So let me refresh it. Was there any log came to Orchestrator? No. Why it did not come to Orchestrator? Reason being, in the Uipath Assistant we have made it, turned it off. Okay, that could be one of the reason. Now because this is off, no logs has been sent. If I make it to critical, I have made it to critical now. Okay, and try to recall what are the things we have designed. Here we have designed a message box, we have log messages. So fatal, critical, both are same. Remember, fatal and critical both are same. Okay, so we have a log message with fatal, and then we have a log message with error, warning, info, trace, right? All these things are there. Try to remember this specific image, info, and then trace. All these log messages we have got. Now what we have done, in the preference page here, we have set it to critical now. After setting it to critical, there is no save button as such. Simply keep it to critical. Go back to Uipath Assistant and run it. Okay, and let the run complete. Okay, so the message box has come. I'm going to click on OK, and the run is complete. That means the logs must have already gone to Orchestrator. So so this was the last one, 2:11.48. Let me refresh it. The moment I refresh it, what did I find? Automate with Rakesh execution ended. This is the last one. The only log message that has appeared over here is saying this is a fatal error. Why this message is coming? Because in the studio, if you remember, this log message we have written, this is a fatal error. So it did not write R error, it did not write R1, nothing was written. Only thing written after the execution, the logs, in terms of the logs. So the execution has happened, but in terms of logs, it should store, it should write the logs, right? We have all the 5 activities, but it did not write anything. It has only written the fatal, the log level which has the fatal or critical, both are same. Because why this has happened? Because here we have set it to critical. Because we have set it to critical, out of all the log messages, only this kind of a log message got registered. The log message whose log label was fatal, only that thing got registered, nothing else is registered. Clear? Now it will be more clear. Let's say, so let's write it down on a notepad one by one. Okay, so let's write down the first thing we learned. We have turned it off, that's a different one, but the first log label we have saw critical. The moment I'm enabling critical, only critical log message are registered, correct? Now let's set it to error. The second one is error. Let's go to our UiPath assistant. Here now I am going to set it to error. So when I set it to error, let's see what happens. So I'm going to again run this process. Okay, let me run this process once again. Okay, so the message box has appeared. Click on OK. So the execution now it should be completed. Okay, now it is completed. Let's go back to Orchestrator. Okay, so the last time at 2:15, this is the fatal. So let me refresh it. Okay, after refreshing, what I saw at 2:17, this time when I ran, the fatal error has come and the error has come. That means what are the 2 activities ran? The first log activity got registered. This is a fatal error, right? And the second log message which said R error, even this has been registered. So these 2 things has been registered. So what is the meaning? When I keep the setting to error, right, that time what are the 2 things it will have? It will have error and it will have critical log messages will be registered, getting it, and rest will be ignored. So only fatal and error has come and rest is ignored. So this is our second item. The same thing will follow. Let's say if I go with the third one is warn. Now if I go with 1, what would happen? 1 will come, error will come, and then critical message will be logged, getting it? So let's do that. Go over here, let's set our preference to warning. Okay, warning. Now once you set it to warning, and let's open Uipath assistant, and here let me run this. So now the log label is warning. So when the log label is warning, what did I say? It will have warning, error and critical. So this is complete. Click down OK. Let's go back to Orchestrator, refresh it. Okay, so the last time it was R error, right? Now if you see at 2:19, look at the time difference. So this is where it started. The fatal has been logged, error has been logged, warning has been logged. Clear? The way we have warning has been error, critical and fatal both are same. Okay, remember this, both are same. So fatal, error and warn. So 3 things has been registered: fatal, error and warn. Clear? Now tell me, the next label of setting is info or information. Okay, so if I go to the preferences, and in the preferences I am going to set it to information or info. Now at this point, if you set it to info and try to run, what will happen? Info will come, any log message having info, that will be registered, warn will be registered, error will be registered, critical will be registered, and also the execution start and end time will be registered. So what is the execution start and end? Let me show you it. Okay, now it is at information. So here let's open Uipath Assistant and run this. Okay, so slowly we are learning one by one. Now when I set it to information, so this project has completed running. Let's go back. Okay, and let's refresh it. So the moment I refresh it, what happened? Automate with Rakesh execution started. Okay, so this was the last one, warning, and then we have set it to info. So what happened? Info is registered, warning is registered, error is registered, and the critical fatal error is registered. Okay, the same thing which I told you on the notepad. Info, one, error, critical, and along with that you will find execution start and end time. You saw this execution start. It is also registering at what time the execution has started and at what time the execution has ended. If you click on the I button, you will find more details. Getting it? So that is the, when you set your orchestrator preferences, your assistant orchestrator preferences as information, that time you will find two extra things apart from the log labels. That is when the execution started, when the execution ended. So what are you understanding? Whatever you set it over here, first thing you should always remember is let's say I'm setting info. So info and above, if I'm setting one and above, so the question that you saw, hope I did not close that question. Okay, so when it says above, you should have an understanding. So let's go little more deeper. Okay, now we have set it to information. Let's go with trace. So the trace is the next one. The fifth one is trace dot trace. So when I go with trace, what would happen? Again the same rule will follow. It will have trace, right? It will have trace, and then it will also have info. It will also have one. It will also have error. It will also have critical or fatal, and it will also have execution start and end. Getting it? That is part of your info. So let's set it to our orchestrator setting. We have set it to trace, and now let's run from the Uipath assistant. Getting it? So slowly we are understanding and getting complete details. Very easily we are getting all the complete. So the execution is complete. Very good. So once it is complete, let's go to our orchestrator, and this was the last time automate with Rakesh execution ended. Let's refresh it. Okay, after you refresh, what did you find? See, this was the last time, 221 and 223 is the next latest one. Automate with Rakesh execution started. So what are the things came? As I said on the notepad, starting from trace and above, trace and above, everything will come. Okay, so trace has come, info has come, warning has come, error has come, and then fatal has come. So remembering the sequence is also very important. Critical, error, one. Critical is the top one, and then error, then one, and then info, and the trace. So when a word comes trace and above, you must understand trace and above means trace, info, one, error, critical. People will get confused by looking at this graphics. Trace and above, on top of trace you have verbose. Does that? No, that is not the meaning. This is the meaning what I'm explaining you. So remembering this notepad is important. Trace and above means it is going to register trace, info, one, error, critical, execution start, execution end, and the same thing you are seeing it over here, right? Automate with Rakesh, and then it has got trace, info, one, error, and the fatal, and all these are coming from the project just which we have created. Fatal has come, error has come, one has come, and info has come, and trace has come. Okay, so trace is the lowest label, and below trace there is also something called verbose. So what is verbose? When you use verbose, let's say I'm selecting verbose, the English meaning of verbose is explaining something in more words. Explaining something in more words, that is the meaning of verbose. So if you select verbose, what would happen? It will give you all the above information what trace has given, including execution start and additionally it will also give you activity specific logs. So if you have noticed, there is We have used a message box. Did you find anywhere written message box? This is fatal error, but there's no message box when you are using a trace. So when you set it to verbose, right, when you set it to verbose, and if we run the project from the Uipath assistant now, what would happen? You will see the activities that you have used inside a project, even all the information will be logged. So here it's saying hello Rakesh. Let's click on OK. So the execution completed. Let's go back to Uipath Studio. Okay, so this is the last one. So let me refresh. Okay, remember the time 2:23. Let's refresh. Okay, let's scroll down. Okay, 2:23. This was the last one. So from here it started. So what happened? If you see, it has registered so many things. So what did I tell you? Verbose means expressing something in more words. So you can see the log, when you select verbose, it has given a lot of information. See, a lot of information. So automate with Rakesh execution started. Main executing. What do you mean by main executing? You have this main.xml, right? Main. So main is executing, and then what it's saying, sequence is executing. Why it is saying sequence is executing? From main it will come to the sequence. So it is saying sequence is executing. Then it will say message box is executing, right? One by one, message box is executing. Then message box is closed. Then it's saying the fatal error, the log message executing, log message closed, R error, log message executing. So it is, see, look at it. It is giving more details even about the activities that is being used. For example, message box is one of the activity. Last time it was only registering the message. This time it is also saying log message is executing. That means it is activity. So it is giving details about everything. Okay, it is giving details about everything in detail. So that is known as verbose. Okay, so you must have understood when somebody says, you should be careful about the word. When somebody says verbose and above, what is your understanding? That means verbose is this and above means all of this. Critical error 1 info trace. Okay, along with activity specific logs will be done in verbose. When somebody says trace and above means what? Trace, it will have the log message which says trace, log message where it is mentioned as trace. It will have that log message registered along with info 1 error critical execution start and end. Okay, all of this. So all this demo we have seen. So now let's go back to the question. Now I'm pretty sure anybody can answer. If you have they understood this example which I've given, then anyone can answer this question pretty easily. This would be a silly question, right? If you have the understanding based on the graphics, logs which label will be sent to Orchestrator during the process execution. During the process execution, if you are selecting it to trace, what is the answer I showed you? If it is selected to trace, what would happen? Trace and above will go, right? Trace and all the above things will go. That is the meaning, trace and above, right? So when you are selecting trace, what would happen? The trace, the log message which has got trace, that will go, and above, right? This is the word, you should be careful, trace and above. So the answer here is trace and above. Getting it? So do not get confused with this sequence. Okay, this one is the top one. This is not the top one. This is the low level details. Low level means all small details it will have. This is the only critical. Only when I say select error, error and critical will come. When I select warning, warning and critical will come. When I select information, the information and all of this will come. When I say trace, trace and all of this will come. When I say verbose, everything will come. Getting it? So verbose and above means you should always remember the notepad the way I have written. If you remember this notepad, you will be able to answer these questions pretty well. Okay, I hope you must have got much more clarity about this and you'll be able to answer all such questions in a pretty easy way. Thank you guys for watching, and we are going to meet again in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.